So hello and welcome back to the Ground Cinnamon. Today I'm going to show you another classic American recipe, and that is the Southern fried chicken sandwich. So fried chicken is awesome, we all crave for it, and what I'm looking at is amalgamating it with another amazing fried chicken from the south of India, and that is the chicken 65. So what I'm looking at is retaining the textures of a southern fried chicken and the flavor profile of a chicken 65, and that is because I love chicken 65. Now both of course are fried chickens, but there is a difference in the method, and so in this episode I want to concentrate on the method of getting a perfect fried chicken. So I think I've done a pretty good job with the amalgamation, and I think you guys are gonna love this. To make a fried chicken sandwich, I am going to use chicken breasts. Why breasts, you might wonder, and that is because chicken thighs are easier to cook with. Breasts are a little more challenging, and there are a couple of tips that I'd like to give you. So first of all, be it legs or breasts, do not forget to season. Salt it generously. And the next thing is, as you see, chicken breasts are a little uneven. You want to even it out as much as possible. So a rolling pin works pretty well. What you want to do is you want to pound it in an outwardly motion. Now what's going to happen is they're not going to be perfectly flat, that's okay, but at least it's going to cook a little more evenly than what it would have had you not done this. The chicken breasts are ready, and now I'm going to chill these in the fridge while I make the batter and the seasoned flour. The batter is arguably the most important part of this dish. This is 2/3 of a cup of flour, all-purpose flour, and you want to season this right. So chicken 65 isn't really subtle in any way. So most importantly, you want to salt this flour right. So you want to go in with at least 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt, about a teaspoon and a half of pepper, a teaspoon and a half of garam masala, another teaspoon and a half of red chili powder. This is red chili powder. This is going to add the heat. Don't confuse it with the 1 tablespoon of paprika. So paprika is purely for color. It's not going to add any heat. In fact, it's going to add a little bit of sweetness, but it's predominantly for color. Into this, you want to go in with 1/3 of a cup of vinegar and a couple of eggs. What I'm also going to add is a tablespoon of garlic and a tablespoon of ginger paste. Now you could increase the portion of ginger and garlic paste if you really like the flavor. Again, chicken 65, not really subtle. It needs the punch of ginger and garlic. Whisk it, and once you whisk it, you're going to get a really thick batter. Now what you want to do is add enough water to bring the consistency of this batter to that of cream. Finally, what is really important in chicken 65 are the curry leaves. You want to add some julienne curry leaves. And what you also want to add are coriander leaves, which I have clearly forgotten. Don't forget to add the coriander leaves. So the marinade cum batter is ready, and into this you want to add your seasoned chicken. Now you want to let this marinate for at least an hour. You could go up to 4 hours and really let the vinegar do its magic. By the way, if you're wondering why so much vinegar, let me explain. So the job of an acid product is twofold. Firstly, it is to open up the flavors. So because this product is deep fried, it's rich, it's greasy, it's oily. You really want some acid product to cut through this richness. So even if you think about it, any fried chicken made in India, or any kebab for that matter, we always top it with a lot of lemon juice. Only then do the flavors open up. The second important job is to tenderize the meat. Now, classic fried chicken made in North America is always marinated in buttermilk. Now, don't confuse it with the buttermilk you get in India. The buttermilk there is very different. It's a lot more acidic, it's a lot thicker, it's borderline yogurt. So if you want to replicate that, you could really use yogurt, but the product you get is so good. Now, because I'm making chicken 65 fried chicken, I wanted a batter which would taste like chicken 65, but I also want enough acid in it to open up the flavors and also tenderize the meat. With the seasoned flour, we are literally going to replicate what we did with the batter. So this is 2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour, And remember, during the breading, the dusting process, you're going to need a lot of flour, and you want to season this flour right. So you want to season it with about 2 or 3 teaspoons of salt, a couple of teaspoons of crushed pepper, a couple of teaspoons of garam masala, a couple of teaspoons of red chili, and a tablespoon of paprika. Now at this point, this is good enough. This is well seasoned. But just in case you have ginger and garlic powder, you can go in with a couple of teaspoons of each. Here again, you want to add juliennes of curry leaves, give the entire seasoned flour a good mix, and that's it. We are ready to start frying. The frying. So firstly, you want your oil at 160 degrees centigrade. If you don't have the markings on an induction like I do, or if you don't have a thermometer, remember the oil has to be medium hot. If it's too hot, the batter outside is going to burn real quick and it's not going to cook through. You also want a cooling rack. It's really handy. Now what you want to do is take one breast out and you want to let the excess batter drip off. Once it's dripped off, you want to lightly place it onto your flour. And now you want to cover both sides of the breast with the flour. You want to coat it very nicely. Now do not try and mix the flour into the batter. All you want to do is dab the flour onto this. Now what is followed is the most important motion that makes fried chicken, the wriggling. You want to wriggle off the excess flour. You want to let the flour fall off. And this will create the cracks and crevices that makes fried chicken so flaky and so tasty. Now this goes into the oil, and because this is chicken breast, it's going to take exactly 6 minutes. You can literally map it on your watch. If you're using chicken legs, it's going to take 9 minutes. Same procedure, but 9 minutes. So the procedure to make fried chicken is marginally different from what I'm showing you. Now because I'm making a chicken 65 fried chicken and I've made a batter, I've gone batter, flour, fry. But ideally, you would go flour, wet ingredient, flour, fry. So in case you're making a classic fried chicken, you would go seasoned flour, buttermilk, seasoned flour, fry. You're welcome. And look at that. Does it remind you of something? Now you want to place this on your cooling rack and you want to rest it for at least 5 minutes. If you cut it open now or if you take a bite now, all the juice is going to flow out and you're going to have a product as dry as rubber. So rest it for 5 minutes. From this point, you can serve it in many ways. You can serve it with some gravy, that is regular bechamel sauce, with some mashed potatoes, some veggies. It's going to be so good. But what I'm going to do is construct a very simple sandwich. To construct the sandwich, you want a couple of toasted buns. And you want these toasted in some butter, some salted butter. Oh yes, salted butter, so good. You also want to add a little bit of mayonnaise for the creaminess. Or even better, you could add some garlic aioli. What I'm also going to add are some onions. Now these onions, I've cured them in a little bit of salt and some lemon juice, just to add a little bit of that chicken 65ness to it. Top this with your fried chicken and close the burger. You have a very nice, on the basic side, but a very nice chicken sandwich. So there you go, my version of the southern fried chicken. Now do let me know how the product turns out for you. Do let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. What I would recommend though is that you use chicken legs, and that is because the product is so much more juicy. It has so much more flavor. Also, if you're not into chicken 65, you can totally replicate the method and go with the flavor profile that you like. Now, if you want to support the ground cinnamon, do hit the subscribe button, do share. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.